Good morning. Welcome to CVR English Business Life. So today morning we are looking at the Asian markets, a complete sea of red. The indications were given by the Dow Jones, which closed about 200 points minus, and along with that the Nasdaq also dropped by about 84 points. So this correction has been happening consecutively for the past 4 days, and it has been just not at all retreating to gain towards the upper side. So if we look into the major losers in the Asian market, especially the Nikkei, the Japanese market is trading with losses of about 315 points, and the Hang Seng is currently trading with minus of about 400 points. So right now what we are looking into the SGX Nifty, which was lost ground about 19 points earlier, right now trading with losses of about 30 points minus, that's about 11,059. So expecting the markets onto a negative side, because today is the last day of this week. So once the weekly kind of closings are so important, so that to create another kind of bull trend in the coming days. So expecting the pre-election rally to continue, there are kind of resistances which are being given by the experts, saying that 11,100 and 11,200 are the major resistance areas, wherein the supply cannot be absorbed by most of the liquidity which is getting infused into the markets. So looking into the details, I welcome my guest Mr. Osho from Carvey Stock Broking. He's a technical analyst who would guide us into the markets as on today. So let's ask him about the first index status. What would happen to the Indian Nifty once it starts trading from 9:15 a.m. today? So hi Osho, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
So could you tell us exactly where would the index is expected to open, and will it sustain the kind of selling pressure, or can we see any kind of a buying?
So as we have seen that from past 4 days, Nifty has been witnessing a very good kind of a rally, but again we cannot rule out the resistance that it is having at 11,118, which is the previous swing high. So what we can expect from now, that as we have seen SGX Nifty is currently trading with a negative note. So what we can expect, that our market can open slightly lower, around 30-40 points. But again, if you will be talking about the bullish momentum, if it will be sustaining above the range of 11,000 levels and 10,980, then the bullish momentum can be carried forward. And for the day, you can buy Nifty around 11,000 levels, keeping a stop loss of 10,940 levels for the higher side of 11,100 to 11,120 levels.
Okay, so looking at these indications today, even the European Central Bank actually also gave us a statement in the Europe, like they had their growth forecast, including the inflation at the same time. They have cut down the growth forecast, especially here, leaving all the investors fearing for the worst for the global economy. So this kind of statements made by the ECBs, would be really a concern even to the Asian region. So what would be the kind of reaction by the markets? Do you really think that was one of the main reasons why the markets have continuously falling today as well, especially the Hang Seng index falling by more than 400 points right now, Osho?
Yes, as of now what we can see, that across the globe all the indices have been witnessing some kind of selling pressure, as all the indices are approximately 1% down. But again, we cannot tell all those things in our Indian indices, because even our heavyweight counters, like if you can see the counters like L&T, Reliance, Axis Bank, basically Bank Nifty, PSU banks, they have been performing very well from the past 2-3 days. So if these momentum will be carried out, then obviously we are not having such kind of domestic news as of now. The only data that will be coming, which will be on next Tuesday, the inflation rate. So what we can expect, that till that time our market can be driven on the basis of global concerns. But again, after the inflation data or some other domestic data will come into picture, then again we will be having the same momentum as of now, 11,000, till the time 11,000 levels has been sustained.
Okay. So today, looking into this market, actually the annual report update of ACC says the profitability has improved. So in general, can we expect, despite of the cost pressure and the increasing in working capital, will it really impact the cash flow, or can we see some marginal gains in the stock? What could be your take on ACC?
So as of now, what we are witnessing in the market, that all the cement sector have been outperforming as of now. So ACC being one of the top leader among the cement sector, if you can see the technical of the ACC cement, then it has been performing from the past 1400 levels, 1300 levels till now it is approximately 1555. So what we can expect that these kind of rally will be extended, given forward that it is one of the counter which can be counted from the cement sector. So looking at the overall structure of the chart, it's looking positive, and one may accumulate this counter from short to medium term perspective, sir.
Okay, so apart from the large cap like ACC, can we also look into the mid caps of the cement sector, which are going to be giving any kind of returns in the near term?
Yes, as of now, what you can see, like companies like India Cements, Heidelbergs, these kind of companies are there from the cement sector, and these have been a kind of not outperforming from the cement sector, but yes, they are having some kind of consolidation at the lower bottoms. So what we can expect from these counters, that if you have a time horizon of let's say 3 to 6 months, then these counters can be looking forward for accumulation purpose. But as of now, even Ultratech and ACC would be a preferred pick over the cement counters.
Okay, along with this, we have some important news coming up from the Bharti Airtel promoters and the GIC to subscribe half of 32,000 crores rights issue. So would that be kind of a welcoming news for Bharti Airtel?
See, what we can see from the Bharti Airtel, that it has been having a very tough competition in the market after the presence of Reliance Jio. So there is not much of the performance that can be seen for Bharti Airtel. If you can see, Tata Communications, Infratel and Bharti Airtel, which are the listed companies from the telecom, which are performing good, Bharti Airtel is still on the lower side as we compare it from Tata Communication or Infratel. So as of now, till the levels of 305 is sustainable, by 305 and 4 is the zone. If it will sustain above those levels, then there can be some kind of trading rally in the counter. But from medium term perspective, it's better to avoid Bharti Airtel, and looking for Tata Communication and Infratel will be a preferred picks.
Okay, looking at the Nifty Futures Index, the indications what are looking at the yesterday's trading pattern into the Nifty Futures, like 11,040 downside levels might be a big bearish intraday kind of a fall up to another 100 points, say around about 10,960 kind of zones can be expected, and around about if Nifty Futures crosses about 11,150 levels and all. So I think any kind of a bullish kind of zones can be expected, because looking at the current scenario, 11,040 and 11,150 has been playing a very crucial and important role, because the reason is last month February the Nifty futures made a high of around about 11,143. So the same resistance areas are going to play any kind of crucial role today.
Yes, if you will see the open interest from the from last trading day, the maximum OI addition on the call writing has been done at 11,200 levels, followed by 11,100. And if you will see the same thing on the technical charts, as I told you earlier also, 11,118 on the spot levels, which is the swing high, is acting as a very strong resistance for the counter. But we cannot rule out the thing that it is having a very strong support even at the lower side of 11,000, because if you will see 2 days before, the Nifty has opened a gap up, which was approximately 10,980 to 11,025 levels. So till the gap is not filled, the momentum for bullishness can be seen in the market. But yes, 11,000, if there will be any breach from 11,000, then there can be some kind of correction phase that we can witness in the market.
Okay, now the markets have opened, and currently what we see is 11,021 is a Nifty 50 trading at now, losing ground about 40 points minus, and Sensex is trading at about 36,640 minus about 85 points. So what would be the indication currently looking at the Nifty spot, which is getting into the minus zones? Very importantly, if we look into the major losers, the top 5 losers right now are minus 3% is Wipro trading right now with about 260 price, And ONGC lost ground about 3% again, trading at 148. Hindalco is losing about 2%. That's 197. Tata Motors is trading negative territory at about 186. Minus about 1.5%, and IOC getting into a profit booking area wherein trading at about 148, losing about 1.5%. So are there any good medium term or long term bets can be preferred in these loss making stocks right now today in intraday Osho?
See, as of now, what we are witnessing in the loss-making counters, that IOC, it has moved a very good rally. It has witnessed a very good rally from 130 points till this level. So what we can expect, if there will be any kind of correction in this counter, that can be witnessed for very good accumulation purpose, that can be sorted for accumulation purpose. If you will see Tata Motors, again it has witnessed a very good rally from 150 levels till 195 levels. So again, if it will be in the range of 180 and 190, it is a very good trading range for Tata Motors also. But for the picks that you will be asking me for the day, except from these picks, you can even look for L&T. L&T has given a very good rally. So L&T can be a bet for the day that you can look for accumulation purpose.
Okay, let's take a small break and come back to Business Live for especially some stock recommendations by our experts. Right. आप माइक शेयर करें.
केबल कट है सर.
चेक करो एक बार.
Ready?
माइक चेक.
Okay, ready. Sir. सर ओके एक बार चेक करें.
ऑडियो चेक 1 2 3.
ओके.
Now we are looking at the market opening, and the market opening continues to be trading in the negative zone, and the top gainers right now, let's look into the top gainers, Nifty 50. And before looking into those top gainers, I welcome my other guest, Mr. Chirag from Kabe Stock Broking. So we have Chirag, who would be addressing the requirement of investments and the stock recommendations as well. So hi Chirag, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, sir.
So Chirag, how do you want to go ahead about this markets opening today being the last day of this week? So can we expect the correction getting deepening into this scenario, because the ECB and the other European markets are, and along with that Asian markets are trading into deeper red. So can we expect any bounce back, or markets will remain resilient?
Look, first things first, we have opened on a soft note today. We have opened at around, currently we are trading at around 11,050 odd levels. So if you look at the resistances as far as Nifty are concerned, upside resistances are pegged around 11,100, 11,150. So crossing these levels on the upside will be a little difficult for the Nifty, for the simple reason being that we do not have any fresh major triggers that is likely to propel the markets on the higher side. Whereas on the lower side, we are likely to follow global cues. We will be dependent on global cues until the IIP and the inflation data is out next week. So till such time, the markets are likely to remain choppy. So however, on every decline, we recommend you to buy, because the prevailing trend is on the upside. So such small decline should be used as buying opportunities.
All right. So yesterday's loser, NTPC, is the top gainer today in the Nifty 50 index, trading at about 150 rupees with gains of about 2.5%. Bharti Airtel is again gaining with the news of 32,000 crore kind of infusion of capital into their company. Bharti Airtel trading at 311 at about 1% gains. Infratel right now trading with about less than 1% gains, about 308, and M&M and India Bulls Housing Finance are again also trading in the green territory, simultaneously at about 677 M&M and India Bulls Housing Finance 724 rupees. So can we expect any further gains or this kind of rise into these stocks? Any of your stock which you want to recommend for intraday or for even a short-term delivery, especially in these 5 stocks. I believe M&M, India Bulls Housing Finance, Infratel or Bharti Airtel could be any of the bets.
Well, yes, we are bullish on M&M, that is Mahindra and Mahindra. I mean, it has witnessed a positive opening in today's session. It has made a higher top and higher bottom so far. We are expecting the stock to move towards 690, 695 in today's session. This is on the back of good volumes or good buying activity which was seen in yesterday's trade. Hence, we are recommending a buy in this counter. The stop loss for this trade will be a deep one at around 650, but upside targets can be 700 to 705.
Okay. So it seems that Azim Premji, his trust is planning to sell about 2.6 crore worth of shares in Wipro. So do you expect any kind of reason behind this, or what is the one of the reasons for the trust to sell about approximately to the tune of 2.6 crore shares, because Wipro seems to be bullish?
Well, if we look at, if we consider such news flows which are coming from the corporate background, it is very difficult for us to, ascertain as to why they are, trying to offload a little bit of stake. There could be multiple reasons for this because, I think we should not speculate on those, reasons as such. Wipro being a blue chip stock, it is a very good opportunity to go long in this counter for longer term investment. So buy it in bits and parts, accumulate around 15-20% of the internet quantity that you want to buy for long term around current levels, and hold it with a stop loss below 200 for upside targets of around 400 over the next 2 to 2.5 years.
Okay. The government has approved Projects Revival scheme worth about 31,000 crore for the power sector. What does this mean for the stocks?
Well, there will be an initial bump up in a few stocks from the power space. You might as well see, stocks like Power Grid, NTPC do good. Another reason for these stocks to do good is we have had nothing as such for the power sector stocks in the last 4 years, ever since the BJP government or the NDA government came into power. A lot was promised before they came through. A lot was expected on the power front, but nothing came through. But the recent development in this sector or in this segment is a booster for all these stocks. So NTPC, Power Grid will be our preferred bets.
Okay. With 3 more planes grounded, 40% of the jet's fleet is not operating. So what can be expected in the future? Will there be more bad news coming into the stock specific like Jet Airways, or as a whole in the of aviation sector? Can we expect the negativity would continue, and would this eat into the investors' investments?
Look, in one of our earlier shows, we had clearly mentioned that we are not very bullish on aviation sector stocks, and aviation sector stocks have known to be wealth destructors in the longer term. No doubt they are good trading bets due to their extreme volatile nature in the short term. As far as investing activity in Jet Airways is concerned, I would not recommend that. I would just like investors to refrain from that. As far as trading activity is concerned, you can go long in Jet Airways if it comes down around 230 with a stop loss of around 210 for upside targets of 260 to 270.
Okay. And we have a news from a couple of more stocks here. That's Reliance Capital's, that's planning to reduce debt by 10,000 to 12,000 crore in the next 4 months. So what would be the implications on the stock, and would they be, a kind of a significant change?
Well, any debt reduction activity is a positive sign in itself for any company, no matter what the background of the company is or what the nature of the the operation is. Any debt reduction activity should be looked as a positive development in itself. And but having said that, Reliance Capital, coming from the ADAG pack, which has been witnessing a lot of turbulence of late, I would recommend you to refrain from this stock as far as investment is concerned. But for a trading bet, you can go along with a stop loss placed below 180 for upside targets of 205.
Okay. So do you have any stocks, especially for our viewers, to go for any kind of a intraday or a short-term trade today?
Yes, intraday we are bullish on L&T and M&M. As far as L&T is concerned, 1350 is where you go long. Stop loss for this trade will be below 1310, and upside targets can be 1400 to 1415 on the upside. As far as the short trade for the day is concerned, we are bearish on HCL Tech. We have seen that Nasdaq Composite has crashed. It has fallen more than 1% overnight. And being a IT heavy index, we will see some bit of pressure on the IT stocks back in India as well. So HCL Tech is one stock which you should go short on. 1035 is where you enter the short trade. Upside stop loss will be 1065. Downside targets can be 980.
Okay. So, coming to a stock specific question here, Gujarat Gas. Gujarat Gas, is in news because the Morbi, could be a gold mine for the Gujarat Gas is what the kind of, rumors are going around. And will this blanket ban, can it really boost the volumes in Gujarat Gas, which they are into the main services in this company. So, can this be stock recommended for a short term or a long term kind of a investment scenario because of these kind of benefits which Gujarat Gas is expected?
Well, if we look at the weekly chart pattern of Gujarat Gas, it has retraced around 88% of its entire up move from a level of around 100 to upside levels of around 195 to 200. Currently placed around 125 to 130. So we are recommending this stock as a good medium term value pick bet from our end as far as the mid cap space is concerned. One can look at buying the stock at current levels with a stop loss of 2.5 to 3% for upside targets of 4 to 5%.
Okay. So, today being the International Women's Day, of course, we need not have one day as especially for women, but every single day belongs definitely in the entire world for all the women there. So, but still, as a Western culture is catching up even in India, definitely we would love to appreciate and all the women who are making some significant change to the society. And being the International Women's Day, we would like to wish all the women a very happy International Women's Day from CVR English. And we would also have a couple of stocks being recommended especially for women. Of course, even the men can also go ahead and buy. But definitely we do have some names from our expert today. So what would you like to suggest on the International Women's Day?
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate each and every lady watching this show, and I would like to recommend them to invest for their own benefit for longer term rewards. The first stock that I would like to recommend is Trent Limited, which is from the Tata Group, and it is the parent company of Lakme, and it is currently trading around 333 rupees. One can look at buying the stock at current levels. Stop loss on the downside will be somewhere below 280. Upside targets can be 500 in the long term. The other one is Procter Gamble Health and Hygiene. It is it's a well-known stock. It's a well-known. The products of this company are well-known in the market, and most of the ladies would be using products out of this company. Currently, the stock is trading at around 10,400. Do not look at the price is what I would recommend. Look at the value that you're going to derive out of it in the longer run. So go long in this counter at around 10,400, 10,000 levels, and downside stop loss will be 8,000. Upside targets can be 16 to 17,000, anywhere between 2 to 3 years.
Okay, and we have two more stocks before we close the show today. That's Titan. It's been significantly garnering share in the market, which has been really exceptional kind of gains. So can we look into any kind of stronger or highs or new 52 weeks highs kind of in this stock, especially because of course even Titan is also focusing onto the Tanishq jewelry at the same time on the International Women's Day. So with this can join into their portfolio of stocks for the women especially.
Well, yes, Titan is one of our preferred bets as far as consumer durable space is concerned. Apart from this, as far as Titan is concerned, you can go long in the counter around 1,000, 1,050 odd levels, with the stop loss placed below somewhere around 785 for upside targets of around 15 to 1600 over the next 2 to 3 years. Now these are value picks, and these will give you rewards over a longer period of time. So I would recommend each and every lady watching this show to go long in Titan as well. And you can definitely buy gold from Tanishq, so that it will boost the sales of the company as well.
Okay, so now coming to the company called Infosys. Of course, Infosys looking determined to make the company future ready, and they're also actually ramping up to get into the digital investments part. So what next, like into when we're talking about the IT companies, of course Tech Mahindra is one which is topping the charts, but can we also expect any kind of a zoom up getting into the Infosys?
Well, yes, Infosys, if you look at the chart pattern, it is a little disturbing at the moment. It is currently trading at around 710. As far as yesterday's close is concerned, it had closed around 742. So there is a small decline in the counter, and such declines should be used to buy good quality stocks for long term. Now, if you look at the longer term chart patterns of Infosys, every such decline, people who have invested in such declines have made substantial amount of money for long, over the long term. So no doubt it is one of our preferred bets, again from the IT pack, also from the index heavyweight pack. So I would recommend you to go long in Infosys, buy it somewhere around on further declines around 680, 675 for upside targets of somewhere around 780 to 800 in the short to medium term. Long term targets can be somewhere around 1200 to 1300.
All right. So coming to the metal pack, looking into the metal pack, we have one of the leading stocks, from the Tata Group, that's Tata Metallics and Tata Steel. Can there be any long build-ups can be made, and because we are looking into these stocks on a looking at in the perspective of technicals, like I think there could be some kind of a slight amount of bump up coming into such companies. Could that be possible in Tata Steel if we talk about?
Look, we feel that the entire metal space is witnessing a good value buying from lower levels. We have seen that the stocks, you pick up any metal stock, they have corrected big time from lifetime highs or from 52-week highs, and they have almost halved on their way down. And currently, if you look at the the chart pattern of Tata Steel, it is consolidated around 450 to 460 to 480 odd levels, and it is tried to move out of the consolidation zone. Now, this development has come on the back of trade talks between China and US, strengthening and taking some shape on the positive side. And if you want to trade on Tata Steel, as far as the short-term trade is concerned, you can go along in the counter on declines around 500. Stop loss will be below 480. Upside targets can be somewhere around 600 to 650. This is the short to medium-term trade. As far as the long-term trade is concerned, you can buy the stock for upside targets of 800 to 900.
We have been looking at the stock called Praj Industries for the past couple of months. This stock has been just going just northwards and not at all compromising to even give a bigger correction, because recently when the stock made a 52-week high of around about 126 kind of levels, this stock came down to sub 100 levels in the correction in the month of December, January kind of months. But right now this stock trading at about 160 levels. So is still the rally going to be intact, or can somebody try to jump into this stock in any kind of a correction and expect any kind of a rally further?
Well, if you look at this stock, Praj Industries, it has got a lot to do with ethanol blending, and whenever there is any kind of news or any kind of expectation coming through at least on the ethanol front, this stock starts rallying. Now, the stock has rallied substantially in this recent past, and we've seen that the stock has moved up significantly from 120 odd levels to currently around 156 to 160 odd levels. So I would recommend traders to just wait for the stock to consolidate a bit, and if it comes somewhere around say 150 to 145 on the downside, that is where you enter a long trade for short to medium term. As far as an intraday trade is concerned, I would not recommend that for the time being.
Okay. So looking into this, every time markets experts feel that markets have decisively been giving good kind of pre-election rally. So what could be the major resistance up to which the Nifty index, either the Nifty spot or the Nifty futures, can be expected to go up to?
Well, at the beginning of the show, we had mentioned that the resistances for the Nifty are pegged around 11,180 to 11,200. Now, these are immediate resistances. Now, if these levels are crossed, then the next upside resistance that we look at is 10,500, 10,550. Because if we have seen that the markets have witnessed a lot of pressure around 11,100, 11,150. Now, if that zone is crossed, obviously a lot of short covering will come through in the markets, and it is likely to propel the index towards 10,500 in the days to come.
Okay, viewers, so that's the markets today for you, and still the indexes are trading in well in the negative territory at about minus 16 points. Nifty 50 11,041, and Sensex is trading at about 36,705 with losses of about minus 25 points. So markets are trying to look back upside. So Nifty futures likely to have that kind of a resistance around 11,100, 11,150 levels. So look back and then trade with strict stop loss, as our experts have already suggested. So go through with that, and thank you very much for joining us today in our show, Mr. Chirag and Osho. So we'll see you again on Monday morning at 8:30 in Telugu, in CVR Telugu, and 9 a.m. in CVR English. Thank you.